Part one of how to save the high street camera store. One of the first things is to recognise the weakness, or to recognise the challenge. And one of the biggest claims that the reason why high street camera stores are disappearing is because of competition from internet companies. And what I would argue with that is that generally, yes, some internet companies which are able to sell their products from other places in the world with different tax codes and all that kind of stuff are potentially able to undercut on price with UK high street stores. It may be different in other countries. What I would argue about that is that if you believe that the only reason why your whole industry, camera shop industry in the UK is failing is because of one factor being price, then that's far too narrow-minded a view. There's got to be something more to it, and having a physical store has to have benefits above and beyond just it being a place where people can walk in, look at stuff, and then walk out and buy it online. One of the biggest arguments I say is, like, for example, there's so many industries where in the industry, in the physical shops, it's far, far more expensive than it is to get it from somewhere else, but yet they still do really well. The best example would be Starbucks. You go into a Starbucks or a Costa Coffee or a Nero coffee shop or something like that, and it costs you £3.50 for a single cup of coffee. However, I know every time I go in, I'm going to go and get a coffee which I want. It's not a case of I go in and go, can I try this coffee, please? And they go, no, we don't have it. Maybe check for it online, or we can order it in for you in a month's time. That's that. If that was how coffee shops worked, I wouldn't be buying any coffee shops. But at the same time, you can buy a jar of coffee for £3, so cheaper than a single cup of coffee from Starbucks, and you can get 20 cups of coffee out of that. But the thing is, people still do that. People still have a jar of coffee. Like in my office, we have a giant jar of instant coffee, which people will go and use during the day. But in the mornings, people go and get their coffee from the shop. So that's a massive example of how price, it being hundreds and hundreds of times more expensive, but yet people will still pay for it. So you gotta let's think about that. And also at the same time, you could talk about, I can download movies for free, but at the same time, I do like to go to the cinema, even though it's about £10 per ticket if I go along. And the thought of buying popcorn, not a chance these days, considering that's about £4 for a box of popcorn. But at the same time, sometimes I like to go and have that kind of experience. So how do we bring that into talking about camera stores? Well, what I'd argue is that there's three positions of cameras being sold. One is the physical camera store, your Jessops, your Jacobs, your Calumet, your mom and pop store, which is on the street. The problem with them is that they have high overheads, having to pay staff, electricity, council tax rates, electricity, all that kind of stuff. So that's where cost is added on top. Second option is Amazon. I buy quite a few of my things from Amazon. They haven't been the cheapest places to get, but I know that when I order them, I can get them either the next day or maybe just 2 days later. And if there's any issue at all, Amazon is fantastic with returns. I can just call them up, they give me a code, I print it out, and I drop it into any shop in town. Well, not any shop, but any shop that does the returns. Or I think they've gone back to the post office now. But absolute ease of returns. And a huge selection for me to look from. And then the final option, I would say, is the proper internet store, which I would consider to be like the Digital Revs of the world. Digital Rev, being a Hong Kong company, doesn't have a physical store whatsoever. So that's the three positions of buying cameras and camera gear. And I would say that if you're one physical shop, which is in the town where you can go in and buy stuff and test, if it doesn't have the stuff that it could give you right there and then, that is a massive fail on their behalf. Because if you go to a physical shop and say, can I see the Nikon D700 and they go, oh yeah, we don't have it. We could order it in for you if you pay for it and then you can have a look at it. Crap service. If they go, no, we don't have it, but you can check it on our website, first thing I'll do, type it into the internet, find it from Amazon or from any other company online. If they have it right there and then in the shop, it's far more unlikely that I'm going to go, thank you very much, walk out, and then go hunt for it online and wait for a delivery. If I can have that immediate sale, immediate walk in, oh, I like it, what's the price, brilliant, and walk out, then I'm going to go and just do that right there and then. However, the biggest issue with a lot of the UK companies is that people will go, oh yes, I like it, it's £1,000. Right in the back of their head, they're going, I bet I can find this online for half price. If I had it in the back of my head going, I could probably save 20 quid, 30 quid, 40 quid, I'd be like going, don't really care. I want to have the satisfaction of getting the box right now instead of waiting for delivery, having somebody stay in the house or organise a postal area for it to be dropped off to. What a pain in the butt. I can just go, cool, buy it here and now. So one of the biggest arguments, or one of the biggest things I would say which would help save the high street store would be knowing that going into the high street store, knowing that the price that you're getting there is as good as you're going to get. And also potentially, if not, being able to go into the store and go, oh, I see you have a Nikon D300 on your website. And do you have one in store for me to have? They go, no, but we can order it online for you at the price which you've seen it. Almost like, because like Tesco or Asda does we won't be beaten on price. So if you go anywhere else and you buy your shopping from somewhere else, and if you find it £1 cheaper, Tesco's will refund you the difference. I see in a camera store, that's going to be a bit of a struggle to do that if you're fighting against online companies. But if you can go, we can buy it for you from that company, we will have it delivered to our shop, and then we can give it to you. That kind of negates the oh, I could get it cheaper. Because one of the biggest things is a lot of people have a massive fear of buying grey market goods. Grey market being not kind of from foreign countries where you potentially lose the warranty, or is it the guarantee? One of those things. And if you can, as a shop, say, look, we'll get it for you, and if you have any issues, you can bring it back to us, and we will organise if there needs a repair or if it's faulty in some way, we can organise dealing with sending it back, and you don't have to worry about postage and all that kind of stuff. So effectively, the shop is supplying a service which you can charge £20, £30 for. The customer is getting the same price of the gear as it would be if it was online, but the customer has the ability to kind of then go into a shop, speak to people, and get customer physical service. So if your argument is saying that online shops are destroying the high street shop because of price, well, let the high street shop buy from the online stores and be able to provide it to the customer. And if the customer has any issues, they can deal with that shop, and for a minor charge, minor fee. If it, £10, £20, you can call it a holding fee if you want. That's part one. Part two coming up soon.